Welcome to the University of Portsmouth pre-departure briefing for students from Europe and for Turkey. Um, my name is Theodor. I am the Senior Global Officer for Europe at the University of Portsmouth. So it is great to see so many familiar names. Some of you I recognize from the emails that we've been exchanging. Others I believe I've met in person in your countries over the last year. So welcome, and it's very good to see your names here. I'm sure that we will try today to give you the most information possible about traveling to Portsmouth and answer any questions you might have about that. With me today, I also have two of my colleagues. So firstly, I've got Anna Vance with me. She is actually, Anna, do you want to quickly introduce yourself and say what you do?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Teddy. Lovely to see you all today. My name is Anna Varanez. I'm the head of student life at the University of Portsmouth. So yeah, really nice to see you all and looking forward to speaking a bit later.
Thank you, Anna. And apart from Anna, we also have Tony, who is one of our current students. Tony, do you want to quickly introduce yourself and tell us where you're from and what you
Yeah,
study?
sure. So hi guys, my name is Tony. I'm international student and ambassador, and I'm studying economics and management for the second year. And I'm from Czech Republic, just so you know.
Thank you, Tony. Amazing. So the three of us today will try to give you the most information that we can in terms of your upcoming travels, any tips and advice on what to do, what to avoid. And I do have a presentation which I will start in a second that hopefully will give you and answer the questions that you might have at the moment. I'm sure there are a lot of them, and we will try to cover them as best as we can. So I will share my screen now and we can make a start. Can you see the presentation okay? Feel free to put in the chat. Okay, and then one last thing. There we go. Perfect. Right. Okay. So, as I mentioned, we will go over a few slides today in the presentation so that we can give you the information that you hopefully are looking for. If you have any questions, feel free to write them down somewhere and put them in the chat at the end of the presentation. We will go over the questions. We will see if you have any further questions and inquiries that you might have, and we will go over them. So keep in mind that opportunity that you have at the end of the webinar. Okay, so first of all, we are looking forward to seeing you in Portsmouth and to welcoming you. Portsmouth is a place where Anna and I have spent a lot of time in, and then Tony is currently on his second year now. So we do love the place. We do love the city. It is 70 miles from London, as you may know already, which means that it's very quick and very easy for the students to go from Portsmouth to London, to the airports. On your way in from your home countries to Portsmouth, it should be a fairly straightforward and simple journey. And this is one of the reasons why we like the place, because it's very well connected. It is a city center campus, so the university is located in the city center. You will not have to travel from the city outside to go to the university and then come back in again. Everything is within the same area, is within the city center, and that's where your lectures will be. That's where the university accommodation, the most of it is. And that's where most of the shops, banks, postal offices, the train station, everything is within this central area, which makes the life of our students very affordable and very quick and easy to get around the place. It has a really good transport links to the rest of the UK, as we already mentioned, going to London, going to Cambridge, Oxford, other places around the UK. It is fairly easy to do. And also being at the sea, as a seafront location on the south coast of England, it has its big advantages. If you're fans of the sea, if you like being around the water and the sea, then Portsmouth is a really good place for that as well. Um, a couple of words about our rankings and our success. I'm pretty sure you already know this if you've decided to come to study with us. My main focus here on this slide is the metric which is on the second row in the middle. For another year, we have 94% of our graduates working and studying within 6 months of graduation. So I know that you are keen on starting your university and this is going to be your first year, but I believe a lot of you are already thinking about the future job opportunities that you will be finding and looking for, how your university degree will have an impact and help you to find the job that you really like. So from that point of view, just bear in mind that the place that you've chosen to come and study is really good at preparing students for employment, for part-time jobs, for placement, and for full-time jobs. And one of the reasons for that is the career center that we have, which is something that we will talk about a bit later on. And it's one of those features of the university that you should really not miss out on and really make the most of it. Okay, so we're beginning with some key dates. The first thing I would mention is our amazing airport pickups that we are organizing. So the airport pickups take place on the 14th and on the 15th of September. And a bit later in the presentation, I'll show you the link which you can use to book. Please note that the deadline for that, to make your booking, is the 11th of September. So you have pretty much another, 6 days to make a booking for the airport pickup. The airport pickup will only take place from London Heathrow Airport Terminal 3. Okay, so if you're arriving at any other terminal in Heathrow or at any other airport in the UK, do not expect that an airport pickup will be there for you. It's only from Terminal 3 and it's only on the 14th and on the 15th of September. Okay. Another point to mention about the airport pickups is the airport pickup is only for students. So if you're coming with your parents or with your brothers, sisters, they will not be allowed to get on the bus. So please bear that in mind, that the airport pickup is only for new students who are joining us this September. The halls of residence will become available on Saturday, the 14th of September. If you have arrangement with your halls of residence, we do recommend that you get in touch with them and tell them when you're arriving so that they know when to expect you. And if you have any separate arrangements with them, obviously follow that. But as a general rule, the halls of residence that the university provides will be open on the 14th of September. If you have applied and are staying in a private accommodation, then that does not apply. It will be the date that you can check in will be set up in your contract and in the communication with your private accommodation provider. International Orientation Week begins on Monday, the 16th of September, and we do encourage you to get involved with as many events as possible during Orientation Week. We will talk about it slightly later in the presentation, and we'll tell you more about what activities you can expect and what you can get involved in. And then Induction Week, which is where the teaching starts, is the 23rd of September. So this is where officially the first term begins. This is where you will go into your classes, you will meet your lecturers, you will meet your classmates for the first time. And this is also where you can ask questions about the timetables and all of those course specific and academic specific questions will be you'll be able to ask those in the induction week, which begins Monday, the 23rd of September. Okay, so we can talk about a little bit about the applications and the visas. I know that most of you might already have your visas or you have already applied for your visas, which is great. So from that point of view, please bear with us if you already know this information. If you haven't applied for visas yet, then I believe that this information that's upcoming will be really useful to you. So Anna, if you don't mind, I will hand over to you.
Thanks, Teddy. Yeah, so like Teddy said, I understand a lot of you do have your visas currently, so we won't take too long on these slides. But if you haven't applied for your visa yet, or you're still waiting, there may be some useful information in here. So, please do let us know if you have any questions. So in terms of what happens next, a lot of you, I think, are quite far down the line and are very close to coming to Portsmouth. So I hope that most of you or everyone here will have accepted your offer in your applicant view and uploaded any documents required within your applicant review. So that is if you were holding a conditional offer and there were documents required to meet the conditions of your offer, you needed to upload them. So if there's anything missing or you're not sure, you can log back into your applicant view and have a quick check. But hopefully you've met all the conditions and uploaded everything so far. You need to complete the CAS Shield details if you haven't done so already, and a link will be sent out to you. And this is for the UKVI assessment. You also need to pay your deposit and provide provide a financial guarantee letter. Now, the financial guarantee letter is if you are a sponsored student. So if someone else is paying your tuition fees, like a government or international business, and they're sponsoring your time at the university, you need to provide that letter. Once you've done all of that, then you can apply for your student route visa. Next slide, please, Teddy. Thank you. So there's a lot of text on this page. I won't go through every single bit of it, but just a sort of a brief overview of what happens next. So once you have received your CAS statement, which many of you probably have already, which follows accepting your offer, please do check all the information on the CAS carefully to make sure it's correct, because the information on the CAS is what they use when they issue your visa. So you want to make sure that your name is spelt correctly, that your passport number is correct, and also critically that the course duration on the CAS matches the actual course duration that you will be studying. So if you're studying a 3-year course at the university, you want to make sure that that is reflected correctly on the CAS. Otherwise, you may be issued a visa that's either too long or too short, and then there's some administrative sort of problems to deal with after that. So make sure that information is correct. You may also need to prepare proof of finance if you need to show this as part of your visa application. So you need to prepare for that. Hopefully many of you either don't need to show this information or are aware of this information and have been preparing that. Because if you do need to show it, you need to have bank statements that evidence that the required funds have been in your account or the account that you're using for at least 28 consecutive days. It's really important to remember that all documents must be original and either in English or accompanied by official translation. If you're an ATAS-bearing course, this will be stated on your offer and in your CAS, and you'll need to provide your ATAS certificate. So bear that in mind as well. You may also need to check if you need to supply a TB test certificate. I believe most countries in Europe do not need to supply this, so no, not to worry there. You may be applying from a third country that you may have residency in, and if you are, it's always important to ensure that you're meeting the requirements for that country. As part of the application, you'll pay the immigration health surcharge, and then in addition to that, you'll pay the visa application fee. Some students, again, not usually many students from Europe, but some students may need to attend a credibility interview. But it's not a process that you need to worry about. It's to just ensure that you are genuinely coming to the UK to study at the University of Portsmouth. So yeah, next slide, please, Teddy. I will leave this information up here and I won't go into it in too much detail because many European students don't need to evidence this. And like I said, at this stage, if you do have an unconditional offer that you've accepted, I would hope that you would have already prepared or started to prepare the funds in your bank account because they do need to be shown in there for at least 28 consecutive days if you are required to show evidence of your finances. So I'll leave this slide up here for a moment, but if anyone does have any questions or concerns, please do let us know in the chat at the end of the session.
Okay, just one moment. Someone's mentioned that the chat is disabled. I didn't know this. Okay, give me a moment and I will fix it. Anna, shall we move on to the next one, or?
Yeah, that's fine. I think if the chat's disabled, that's absolutely fine. Use the Q&A function.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
also true. You can use the Q&A option as an alternative, yes.
Yeah. Sorry, if I've said chat and you can't access it, not a problem at all. Pop it in the Q&A and we'll answer it. But yeah, happy to move on, Teddy. Thank you. So further information about the bank statements here. One really important thing is that the funds must be in a personal account, so they can't be in a business account, and they must also be instantly accessible. So they can't be bonds, for example, that are tied up for sort of for periods of time. If you're not sure about the currency, the UKVI themselves use a website called Oanda, and the link is in this presentation. So if you're not sure about the currency conversion, please use Oanda, as it will get you the conversion that the Home Office will be using when they assess your application. And like I said, if you are a sponsored student, like I said, officially sponsored, and that's either by the university, this is when we say official financial sponsorship, we mean for your tuition fees and potentially your living costs as well. You need that means that you're either sponsored by the university, your national government, or an international company. So in that case, you need a letter confirming the sponsorship that you're receiving.
Okay, thank you very much for this, Anna.
Lovely.
We can move on to the next section, which is finally traveling to the UK, which is, I guess, the bit that you are most excited about. So in preparation for your travel, we do obviously advise the following, and I guess, again, most of you might have already done this. You need to arrange your accommodation. So this is, you might sound very obvious, but quite often we have students from various markets coming over, various countries coming over to at Portsmouth, coming over to our office and expecting us that we will fix their accommodation and sort it out on the spot. That does not happen. You need to arrange your accommodation yourself, well before in advance, whether it's at the university accommodation or private accommodation. It's entirely up to you, but you need to do it in advance of your arrival. Then you need to book your flights and arrive in the UK after your visa is confirmed. So this is a very important note. Please, you need to make sure that you arrive in the UK with your visa granted. A lot of students sometimes think that they can, because time is running out, they can come to the UK and wait for their visa to be granted while they're already here. That is wrong, because in this case, you have entered the UK as a tourist, not as a student. And the consequences of that is that you have to go back to your country, submit a new visa application. The first visa application will not be refunded to you, and you just lose a lot of time and money. So please make sure that you arrive in the UK after your visa has been granted, okay? Then you need to book your transport to Portsmouth, and we will talk about that in a little bit. Please do pack smart and check your luggage allowance. There's no need to bring, and I'll bring Tony here in so he can give us some tips and advice on how he prepared to travel to the UK. Actually, I might do that now. Tony, do you want to share with us what your preparation was like in terms of packing, and just go through that process for us, please?
Yeah, sure. So I started packing like 1 week beforehand after I finished all the administration, the visas and stuff like that, which is necessary to deal with. So I started packing from clothes, which I know I would use, and also other stuff actually probably mentioned on YouTube videos. I actually made a video for YouTube, which you can find on YouTube, UOP Global, which is actually a video regarding the stuff that what should you pack and what should not pack. So it's really good for you to check the video out if you want. And also, so I started packing like in advance. It is necessary for you to start in advance, because it might happen that you'll forget something really important which you haven't thought about yet. So I'll recommend start maybe now, maybe even earlier. If you started, it's nice. So yeah, just start packing, start booking the flight and everything you need. And I actually start with clothes, then actually added the documents like visa, CAS confirmation of the school, and other necessary stuff. Then I covered stuff like cables, PC, and the other stuff that you'll need in the daily life. also chargers. And also I'll recommend for you to buy adapters for your specific country, because UK uses different types of plugs basically. So you'll need them from the first day basically. So I'll definitely recommend you to buy it right now or in advance. I mean, you'll be able to buy it here as well, but if you don't buy it, you'll have to wait 1, 2, 3 days, just for it to arrive, and you'll not be able to charge your phone. So I'll recommend to buy the UK plugs, and also stuff that is like really important to you. But I feel like you'll figure out yourself what you should pack and should not pack. But don't pack unnecessary stuff, as Teddy mentioned, like, I don't know, many books, or because these stuff take so much space in luggages. So just pack wisely, yeah, as Terry said. And should I also cover how I got into the UK, or?
Yes, just in a second. I just wanted to add
Okay.
something about the packing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times students would pack pillows, duvets, bed sheets and things like that. And these things are very big. They take up a lot of space in your suitcases. So please don't worry about this. You will be able to buy very cheap discounted options in the at the shops here in the UK when you arrive. And also, if you're coming to one of the university provided accommodations, then there should be a bed uh, kit for you, so pillows and sheets and stuff like that. So this is one thing that you don't have to worry about when you pack. As Tony mentioned, clothes is good for you to take, of course, with you. Anything that is very sentimental and important to you, you can also bring. Now, pets are not allowed to be brought to the UK, so don't try and bring them with you. Same thing goes with plants and also certain foods. So avoid taking any of those which might jeopardize your entry into the UK or will make the process more complicated. So avoid those things. Pack lightly. Don't take too much things with you that you will be able to buy from here. So just be vigilant and smart about this. And we will put Tony's YouTube video in the chat a bit later on so that you can have a look at it after that. And also check the website for more information, definitely. And on that note, also write down the UP Global contacts. So the phone number and the email that you see there, please make sure that you have them with you in case you need anything, in case you need to contact any of us, and in case you need anything really. Now, something that Tony mentioned about the documents that you have to bring, please obviously take your passport with you. Don't forget your passport. Don't forget your personal ID documents. Also take the letter that shows your visa. Now, if you have an e-visa, an electronic visa, then you will know and you'll be able to show that at the border. But we do advise students, if they can, to print them out and to have them printed as well. So you can print your CAS if you can, and if you're able to, just to have it with you just in case. But you should be able to show your visa and your CAS letter on the phone as well. So have both of them as a just as a measure, as a safety measure. And I believe these are the main things in terms of documents that you need to take with you. Yes, Tony, you wanted to talk about something else as well about coming to the UK, right?
Yeah, sure. So after you pack all the stuff, you'll have to buy a flight as well, but Teddy mentioned it as well. So I'll recommend to buy the airport pickup because it's really convenient for you, especially when you arrive in the later hours, like in the evening. Because, if you travel to Gatwick, there is a direct train like connection to Portsmouth. But for you, when it's your first time in the UK, it'll be not the smoothest, way of traveling or transporting. So I'll recommend trying to book a flight on these dates. I believe it's 14 and 15th. And the airport pickup basically collects all the students and transport them from Heathrow right straight back to your accommodation in Portsmouth. So that's what I've done, and I pretty much enjoyed it because on the way I actually met other international students already. So yeah, it was a really pleasant situation. So I recommend to use the airport pickup for sure.
Okay, thank you, Tony. Speaking of the airport pickup, as we mentioned already, it will be from Heathrow Terminal 3, and it's on the 14th and the 15th of September, and it's 2 airport pickups per day. So one at 11 a.m. and one at 6 p.m. And you can see the link there, which you can use to book your ticket for the airport pickup. I believe it was about £25, if I'm not mistaken, the ticket. So this is considerably cheaper than what you would probably have to pay if you're making your own way. But then I know that the priority is the plane tickets and the availability on the flight tickets. So if this works with your flights that you have selected, amazing. But if it doesn't for some reason, and if you have found another way of coming to the UK, which is cheaper for you, then you don't need to change your flight ticket specifically for the airport pickup. You will be able to make your own way to Portsmouth as well. As Tony already mentioned, Gatwick is another really good option because it has a train station underneath the airport, which is very easily accessible, and then the train is a direct to Portsmouth. So it's a pretty good option to do that as well. So from that point of view, Gatwick is the other option. If you're flying into Luton Airport, please note that Luton is a bit further away from Portsmouth, so you might have to get a train that goes through London and then from London to down to Portsmouth. If you're booking tickets, you can use the train line app, or you can use the National Rail Services and also Google Maps to check where your train is going. So if you land in a different airport, you have options to make your way down to Portsmouth. Somebody mentioned about the airport pickup is if it's something regular. No, the airport pickup is only for these 2 days for the entire year. The reason for that is that it is only for students who start with us, and for students who are joining us and are arriving at London Heathrow Terminal 3. So it doesn't happen at any other point during the year, except for the January intake. We do have a few students joining us in January as well, who are master students. We organize an airport pickup for them specifically separately in January. So again, the link is there. Please do use it. The deadline to make your booking for the airport pickup is the 11th of September, as I mentioned. And also, I almost forgot what I was going to say. So 11th of September is the deadline. And yes, I remembered. And do remember the airport pickup is only for students. So if you're coming with someone else, like parents or brothers or siblings or whatever, they will not be allowed to get on the bus. So just please bear that in mind. If you don't, if you also consider the taxi is an option as well. Aqua Cars Portsmouth is the local taxi service that we have. They do make airport pickups from Luton, from Gatwick, from other airports. So you can book with them during the website there. So please, if you're thinking of using a taxi, book it in advance. We do not advise you to take a London airport taxi because it will cost you about £200 at least. They're very expensive if you get them on the spot. Unless there's an emergency, we do recommend you to book in advance and to book early to make it cheaper for you. We'll go over the questions, as I mentioned. Keep putting them in, but we'll go over them at the end of the presentation. Then in terms of finances, one very important thing, please do not bring a lot of cash with you. We do see quite often students bringing a considerable amount of cash with them. You might have to declare those if they're above 10,000 euros in cash. So please do not bring a lot of cash with you. You can take some for the first few days to have cash and money with you, but do not take a lot of money. You cannot pay your tuition fees and accommodation fees with cash. The only way to make those payments is electronically using your applicant view. You cannot don't come to the to the finance office with a bag full of cash, because we have had that before and that has led to a lot of issues. So please make sure everything that you pay to the university needs to be electronically with applicant view. Bring a small amount of cash with you for the first month and a credit card or traveler's check as a backup if you want to. Another very important thing, the bank account can take up to 2 weeks or longer for you to set up. So it is not going to be the case of you coming to the UK and getting a bank account on the same day to put all the money that you have in it. So please be aware that these things take a bit of time. Instead of cash, most students use a debit card or a mobile card payments from their UK bank account if you already have it. And yes, just as a note, please do be aware that if you have cash with you, which is more than 10,000 euros, brought from the UK into the UK from outside the European Union, must be declared to the customs office. Tony, do you want to share, maybe without going into too much details, about that process and about the bank account and any tips that you found for that journey for the student?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I'll talk about the first point. So you don't need to bring a lot of cash with you. Let's say the pounds, but it's always good to have something on you in case, your phone dies or something happens. But yeah, you'll mostly need your phone or your debit card, and that's all you need. In terms of setting up an account in the UK bank or like setting up a new account, you'll need it mostly for the job. So each part-time job or another job requires for you to have a UK account in the bank. So that's what I would recommend. So actually, the second day I got there last year, I went to the Lloyds Bank, which actually collaborates with the university as well and will help you with setting up the account. So the process is pretty easy, to be fair. You'll get all the instructions on the paper and you can do anything online. So you don't even have to go to the branch yourself. So yeah, that's it about the bank account. And also for the other payments, like regular payments, or if you don't intend to set up an account in the UK bank, I'll recommend using either Revolut or Wise. It basically converts your money with less fees. So the fees are significantly lower. So if you intend to, I don't know, purchase the accommodation or just use it just for a online debit card in your phone, you can use Revolut or Wise because it's gonna help you a lot. So yeah, that's it for the finance tips, I'll say.
Okay, thank you, Tony. Yeah, just remember, please make sure that you check all these options that Tony mentioned as well. Don't just copy them because Tony said they work differently for different people for different circumstances. So please make sure that you have all the information that you need for this. Okay, moving on from the finances. Now, section 3 is about joining the University of Portsmouth. So these are the things that you have to do to officially join us. First of all, when you come to Portsmouth, please do remember to contact your family and friends to let them know that you've arrived. A lot of students sometimes forget this because they are very busy in finding their accommodation, settling in, sorting out their luggages, coming to see the university, that they forget to tell their parents that they've arrived. So please make sure that you keep your family and friends up to date with where you are, how the travel is going when you arrive here as well. You also need to pay your tuition fees. Now, a part of them, not all of them. Once you start I guess most of you would have received the online registration instructions around the 21st, 22nd of August. So it will tell you the process that you need to follow for that. And you have two parts of the registration process. One part is the online registration, which you should already have access to. And you need to complete the details there, and you need to go into the fees section, and this is where we get the most questions about. In the fees section, it will tell you that these days you have three options for your payments to your tuition fees. The first option, you have to pay up to 50% of your tuition fees before you register. Okay, so most of you, and I think all of you, have already paid the £3,500 deposit. And you need to pay up to, I believe it's 4,200. So you need to pay up to 50% to complete your registration. Alternatively, if this is option one, and in February you need to pay the second 50% of your tuition fee. Now the second option is you can set up a payment installment plan with our finance team so that you don't pay the full fee in two parts, in 50% and 50%, but you can choose to pay the second 50%, the second part of your tuition fees, in 3 or 6 installments throughout the year. So you still have to make up the first 50% before you register, but the second 50% you can create a special installment plan with the income team, and that should be explained and should be mentioned on how to do it in the fee details section of your online registration. I will also put the email of the income team in the chat, so you can get in touch with them and start talking about setting up this payment plan for yourself. But please do remember, in order to complete your registration, you need to pay up to 50% of the fee. Or if you are sponsored by your government or by a different sponsor, you need to present a sponsor's letter at that point. Then, if you do not hold an e-visa, you need to collect your BRP cards. Anna, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe that BRP cards are issued anymore. Is that
No, you
correct?
should. Yes, everyone should have an e-visa now.
Yes,
So
yes.
the
Okay.
reference number. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so you should all have an e-visa, which is the visa that you apply for, so you don't need to worry about collecting a BRP card. If you're not sure, please do get in touch with us, and we will check that for you. The next thing is, please make sure that you attend the orientation and the welcome events, and we will talk about that in the next slide. But we do organize a lot of events for new students so that you feel welcome, so that you find new friends very quickly in the beginning. I know from personal experience, and Tony can confirm this, that the people that you meet in the first few days are usually the people that become closest to you and that you stay friends with for quite a while. Just as an overview, at the university, we've got about 28,000 students in total. Out of those 28,000, about 5,200 are international and European students from 150 countries. So we have students from all over the world here in Portsmouth, and you will be able to meet students from everywhere. Tony, do you want to tell us something about the... Actually, before you do this, let me just finish the final point, and you can talk to us about your orientation experience last year. So you need to also, after the orientation and welcome events, you need to attend your department and course induction, which starts on the 23rd of September, as we spoke earlier. And this is where you meet your lecturers, you meet your classmates, and you start talking about what to expect from the course and from each of the subjects for the entire year. And now, talking about orientation, these are some of the events that you might see and get involved with. There is the website which is underneath, which has the whole program. So, Tony, do you want to tell us about your first week when you arrived in Portsmouth last year, and what did you get up to, and how did you do it?
Yeah, sure. So I got into the UK basically, I think on Saturday afternoon. So I got one more day to, unpack and do my stuff. But from Monday till Sunday, I went to almost every event available during orientation week. And I'll recommend for you to do the same thing, because you meet lots of international students. And as Teddy mentioned, you'll probably stick around with a lot of them till later times, So I'll recommend to attend as many as you can, because you'll get to socialize and also basically overcome the initial anxiety of moving to a different country, because all the other students, international students, are on the same page and have to go through the same things as you. So I'll recommend to go, engage, socialize, that you'll meet lots of friends there. And it's also helpful. The events like university campus tour or city tours will be helpful for you, because you'll be oriented in the city since the beginning, basically, since the first day. And also other events like movie nights and other social activities will get you together with other international students, as I mentioned. So it'll help me a lot. I wasn't bored and I was enjoying every single event of it. So I'll recommend go to all the events possible. You'll definitely enjoy it.
Thank you, Tony. Some of the events that we do are the campus tours. So with the campus, even though it is within the city center, there are still quite a few different buildings here and there. So we don't expect you to know all of them. So during orientation week, we will have some of our ambassadors. Tony is among them, who will be taking you on university campus tours. So they will show you where the student union is, where the library is, where the halls of residence are, if you don't know them, where your lecture building will be. And you're not going to be expected to go to every single building during your time at university. You normally will have one building, which will be your courses and lectures and seminars. And you can also go to the library, to the student union, and all of those other places as well. So the campus tour is a really good way of you getting your idea of where things are, where different buildings are, to meet also our ambassadors. So look out for people dressed in purple. This is the university color, and at any point you can ask them, "Oh, where is this?" or "How can I get there?" or where can I collect my card?" or whatever questions you might have. They are there to help you and to answer your questions. So please do make the most of them. There will also be city tours, which will take you around the city center and give you an idea of where things outside of the university are, so that you know where the banks are, where the train station is, where the seaport is, where Gunwharf Keys, which is the shopping area and one of the shopping areas, and a really nice marina with a lot of yachts there and a lot of shops and outlets. So all of those things you will be able to find out during that week. Seafront tours, we also take students down to the sea and to the beach, so that they can also get an idea of where that area is and what they can do there. We also organize movie nights, which you can register for on the website that is currently on the presentation slide. We do a lot of social activities like tea and cake meetings, just in total, many different events with the whole only purpose that you find friends really quickly early on in the beginning. That helps with dealing with nostalgia and homesickness and all of that. Once you have a really good group of friends and people around you, then you'll be really good to and set to start your journey at Portsmouth. We do have a welcome presentation during the orientation week, which will be delivered by our director, probably from of the global office, and the vice chancellor as well. So you'll be able to see who are the people who are running the university, and they will talk to you, not individually unless you want to go and talk to them, but as a big presentation where they will tell you a lot about the university. They will welcome you. They will give you some important updates as well. And also the introductory workshops, which is all about finding out how different sides of the university work, where the career center is and how they work. There's a student housing department, which helps students with allocation and finding halls of residence and accommodation in the university. There's a student finance team that deals with students who have issues with finance and funding and all of that. So there are many different departments around the university. There's a well-being service. There's a service that helps students with if they have any issues or problems with writing essays or giving presentations or all of that. You can go and ask for them to support you and to help you to improve those skills with you. If you're not certain how to write your essays or courseworks, there is a team that can help you with to do that. And all of these things that I've just mentioned are free. They are on your disposal, at your disposal. They're parts of your university experience, and they're part of our commitment to you to help you and support you and really empower you to go through your journey at Portsmouth with all the support and help that you might need. Um, Tony, can you give us maybe an example of any of those services? Have you used them? What have you been to the career center? Have you been to like, can you tell us a bit more about the union as well and what they do? Those type of things.
Yeah, sure. So one of the institution I used is Career Center, and I especially used it to actually improve my CV, because I needed to provide my CV to basically get my job, to get my first first, I forgot the word, part-time job. Yeah. So I used Career Center for it, and you actually book a meeting with them, and they'll help you with how you write it, what to include and what you not to include, and basically helps you improve the CV for you. And they'll also help you with finding like part-time jobs as well, and just finding a regular job. And yeah, so I'll recommend that for sure. especially in the first few days when you want to get the part-time jobs, it's better to start earlier. Just in case, So definitely, I'll recommend it. And also for Students' Union, there are lots of events which Student Union organizes, such as Freshers Fair, which will be probably mentioned in the future or in a few minutes, and also other events and societies which are gathered there once or twice a week, depending on the society. So this venue provides a lot for students, and it's a great place to socialize, basically. So yeah, that's probably all I've used, and
Okay.
on my experience.
Thank you. A couple of things about part-time jobs, because I know it's a very popular topic and a lot of you are interested in it. The university and the city itself does offer a lot of part-time jobs. There are many pubs, many cafes, many restaurants, hotels, many places where students do find part-time jobs. These establishments normally are working with students, and they have been working with students for a few years' time. So they know that your priorities will be studying. So your priorities is studying, and when you get your timetable and when you find a job, you can tell your manager, this is my timetable, this is when I have lectures, this is when I have seminars. So please give me shifts that are around that schedule so that it doesn't clash with my lectures. So most of the managers know about this, and they will be more than happy to accommodate you and to give you shifts that don't overlap with your lectures. Most of the students are working in the evenings, in the weekends as well. And please do remember that your student visa will allow you to work only 20 hours per week during term time. So you should not be going over those 20 hours during term time. And your manager should also know this, but you need to also be aware. Um, the career center are very good at preparing students for this, so you can go there and say, I need to create a CV, for this, and it's always nice for you to have already something prepared, and then they can tweak and twist it, because the expectations here in the UK from a CV are different to the expectations from a CV in your home country. For example, one of the big differences I found is that in my home country, CVs always have photos on them. People always have photos on the CVs. In the UK, there are no CVs with photos. People, because having a photo there already creates some sort of bias in the person who is assessing the CV. So that's why in the UK, for example, you don't have photos. Um, I would also recommend that you are proactive in looking for a job. Go to the career center, speak to them. They have a lot of databases and places that are looking for students for part-time jobs and full-time jobs as well. So make the most of that, but also don't be afraid to go into a restaurant or a cafe or a place or a shop that you really like and say, are you looking for people? Here's my CV. I'm interested. Are you hiring? So be proactive. This is what the managers and the employers here expect you to do. I know that we have many different cultures at the moment here on the webinar. Some of you are more shy, some of you are more direct, but please don't be afraid to be proactive and to go out of your comfort zone, talk to shop owners, to restaurant owners. And they sometimes have notes on the door that they're looking for people, even if they're not. Don't be afraid to go inside and ask. Always have your ready CV with you to hand if they ask you for it. And if you really want to find a job, you will probably find it, because there's a lot of opportunities here. We have a lot of our students are working part-time whilst they're studying. It is a common practice, and all of them find a way to balance working and studying at the same time. So it is a common thing. So that's about, and also one more thing about the career center, you can also use them to find a placement and a full-time jobs as well. So, and you can use their services for 5 years after you graduate for free. You don't pay anything to the career center. We really stay with you right until you're really happy with the job that you have found after you finish your university. They have a lot of resources online, so please feel free to use those. There is a multi-faith chaplaincy. So if you are into religion, and if you have your faith, we will have probably people here who can also accommodate that. And if you want to speak to someone, the chaplaincy is open to all students, regardless of their faith, and regardless if they believe or not. You can go and speak to people there. They're always very nice. They always have a lot of cake with them in the chaplaincy. So it's a really pleasant place to go into. You also have a personal tutor. So the personal tutor will be a teacher or a lecturer who will be looking after your academic development and your personal development. So it's another person that you can go to with any questions or any issues, or if anything happens, you can go and talk to them. They're there to support you and to look after you. We also have the student finance team, as I already mentioned. They do have also hardship funds if something happens, if you need help or assistance with anything urgently, you can also use their services. The academic skill support, which I already mentioned, is the team that helps students to develop their academic or English skills in writing and listening, in presentations. So you can also, if you need to, go and speak to them. There are in-sessional English programs as well, which you can sign up to if you feel your English is not up to standards, or if you want to develop it more, you can also do that program as well. And for each of the faculties, you have also engagement officers for looking after the students and the people with that. There's more information on the MyPort link, which is there on the website, and we'll put it in the chat as well. So feel free to look out and check it out. From personal experience here, as someone who is also European, I can say that UK universities are very different than the majority of European universities. One of the big advantages of the UK university, and in Portsmouth as well, is all of those services that you see there. These are all people who work for the university, and their entire job and purpose is to support you, to help you with any issues, any problems, anything that happens. But they cannot do that unless you go and ask for it, unless you go and speak to them and tell them what's going on, and if anything's going on, if you need any help. So please, please, if anything happens, if you need any help and support, whatever it is, come to the global office or contact one of those services there, because these are people who are here to support you throughout your entire journey at the university. You're not on your own. You're not alone here in England when you arrive. You have a lot of people, and us included, in the global office, who are doing everything we can to really help you and support you in your journey, not only before you join us, but also during your time with us as well. And my last, one of my second to last slide is about the societies. So we do have another thing that the UK universities are different for, is the many clubs and societies that they have. In Portsmouth, we have we used to have a lot of European students before Brexit, and since Brexit, obviously this has been reduced a bit. But we were one of the first UK universities to introduce the EU scholarship. So from that perspective, we're really happy and we're committed. So there are a lot of societies in the university that are national based. For example, there's a Greek and Cypriot society, which you can find on Instagram using the handle there. They're very excited to meet new students. So please feel free to go and follow their Instagram account, talk to them, ask them. All of those societies have regular gatherings, and they do different things together. We also have a Czech and Slovak society. Tony, do you want to tell us more about that? And what you guys do?
Yeah, sure. So we also have Czech and Slovak Society, and from last year we've been gathering at least once or twice a month. The president and others also offered us basically a city tour and with their tips and everything. So, and there are also gatherings like going to pubs, some pub crawls and stuff like that. And it's really nice for you because you don't, sometimes after sometimes you might feel like you're losing your connections to your home country, and with this you'll be able to speak your native language and kind of get back with other people, like-minded people from your country. So it's really nice to have these, and I'll recommend joining societies if you have any there. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. So yes, follow the Czech Society as well, if and the Slovak Society on Instagram, and also on the email. There is a Spanish Society too, which is also on Instagram and on email as well. So feel free to contact them and see how you can get to know them. There's a Portuguese Society too, which also has an Instagram account, and it's mentioned there. There's a Scandinavian Society, which includes students from Sweden, from Norway, from Denmark, from Finland, from Iceland as well. So please feel free to also get in touch with them. I know there's a Germanic Society as well, I don't have their details here, but I think they are on Instagram too. And you can also find them on the upsu.net/groups link, which is on the page, at the bottom of the page. And also there's a Turkish society too. So feel free to email them and find out what they're up to as well. And there are many more. This is just a small selection of societies that we have. You don't, with as far as I know, you don't need to be a certain national to join a certain society. For example, when I was a student, I was part of the Indian society because I was getting along with quite a few of the guys over there, so they invited me to join their society. So the whole point, as Tony mentioned, of these societies is um, to really have another environment and people from your country who you can sit down, have a chat about the university, about Portsmouth, about England, about the UK, about your home country, because the culture shock will happen in some form or other. And in that point, it's really useful to have someone who understands you so that you can speak to about different issues and different things, even if it's just to go and grab a drink or cook a food which is from your home country or something like that. So these are really good opportunities for you to do that. There's also a festival of cultures that we organize every year, and Tony was part of it this year. Tony, do you want to say something about the festival as well and how it went and what did you guys do?
Sorry, you mean the Festival of Cultures?
Yes.
Yeah, so it was really amazing. Each society, national society had a stand, and we as a Czechoslovak society cooked some typical Czech stuff like schnitzels or halušky and other national dishes. And we also had a little presentation in the background, our Czech national flag, and also some fun fact and information about it. And each society, one of these mentioned, and other societies of other countries had their dishes, had their significant stuff that they use or they like in their country, and they kind of represent it. So I really enjoyed it, and I will recommend all of you to attend because it's really nice to get to meet other cultures and other habits, basically that the other people use from other countries. I especially enjoyed the Nigerian society. They actually had speakers and they were dancing the whole time, and they had really good vibe. And also Spanish society had really nice food there, really nice variety of foods, and also other society. Each one has something special to them. So I'll recommend it. It was really fun, and I got to try all the national dishes, and it was amazing. So yeah.
Thank you for this, Tony. Yes, I do remember the Scandinavian Society had a game of cup, I believe it's called, which definitely
Mhm.
impressed a lot of people. When I was a student, I was involved with the Bulgarian Society as well. So we had a big stand and with people doing folk dancing and a lot of food. So it is definitely my favorite event of the year, the Festival of Cultures. It is something that please keep an eye out on. It takes place in March every year. And we do recommend you either to get involved, to come along, or even have your own table. It is definitely the best event of the year where we celebrate all the different nationalities that we have. Everyone has the chance to represent their country and the place that they come from in whatever way they want. So we can support with all of that. So from that point of view, I think something went wrong with my microphone there. Anna, can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Teddy. All good. I've just been answering some of the questions in the Q&A, writing them down, and there's a couple more. I don't know if we want to just go through quickly now.
Yes.
Um,
Can you hear me? Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, we can
perfect.
hear you. Yeah.
Yes. Just one more thing before the questions. I think something happened with my microphone here. I don't know why it got lost. So one last thing about the societies and about the festival. Please do do get in touch with your society. Do follow them on Instagram and email them. Also, if you can see your society, if there isn't one, you can set up one. All you need to do is to find another 10 students from your country and set it up. And also, we will also have Freshers Fair. So Freshers Fair is the during orientation, where all of the societies, not only the national ones, but the sports, the music, the other different interest groups will be there. So please keep an eye out on them, and you can go and meet them and see what they're all about and what they offer. Keep an eye out for your country's flag there, because those societies might be out there, and you can go and talk to them in person. So please keep an eye on this. And then the last page is about the graduate immigration route. Anna, you want to say a couple of words here?
Yeah, thanks, Teddy. Yeah, so the graduate immigration route, or GIR, as you may hear it being referred to, is it's almost like it's like a post-study work option. So once you've completed your studies at the university, you may be able to apply for the graduate immigration route. Currently, the rules are you need to be in the UK to apply for the visa. So currently, physically in the UK, you need to meet all the requirements for the route, and that includes holding a valid student route visa application and successfully completing the course for which you're coming to study. And when they say successfully completing, that means having been awarded. So you've not just finished all your exams and you're waiting for your results. It means that you've already received the official result from your studies. If you don't successfully complete your course within the original course date, it may make you ineligible for the graduate immigration route. So that's something really important to bear in mind, is if you need to repeat a year of your course or something like that, it may result in ineligibility for GIR. But the best thing to do is if you find yourself in that situation, is to speak to the visa advisors in the International Student Advice Team, and they can advise you. You also need to hold a student route visa for study for specified periods. So it's essentially at least a 12 month. One really important thing to say at the moment is that the graduate immigration route exists now, but it may always change. You're starting your studies and you're going to be here for at least a year. The graduate immigration route may look a little different. It may be exactly the same. It may look a little different by the time you're coming to look at applying for it. So our best advice is to keep yourself updated. And the best way to do that is reading your emails from the university, in particular from the International Student Advice Team, reading the We Are Global newsletters, which you should all receive when you become registered international students, as they'll include updates about visas, particularly in relation to student route and the graduate immigration route.
Wonderful. Thank you for this, Anna. And I guess I should end the presentation in style. So this is the last slide. So please, if you liked what you saw, and if you liked the presentation and you're joining us, follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok, and on YouTube for a lot of useful content and videos and information about the city, about tips where to go, nice restaurants, good places, and all of that. But also, if anything happens, if you need any problems, if you need any issues, please do email us or give us a call at any point. We'll be more than happy to help you. With that being said, we can have a look at the questions now. So if I stop sharing, Anna, thank you very much for answering a lot of them during the webinar. So the first one is, hi there, arriving on the 17th, did the online registration. So the online registration form, you should have received an email with instructions for it, how to access that and how to complete it. So this should be in your email. And then once you complete the registration process, and it's quite straightforward, so it tells you what information you need to put on, then you have done the online part of registration. The second part of registration is when you get here in Portsmouth, which is where you need to go and do your ID check. So you need to have your passport and your stamp, your vignette from your visa with you as well to complete the ID check as well. To join the Welcome Week, all you have to do is to go on the link on the website that Anna has put in the chat and register for the events there. So there's nothing specific other than that you have to do just to join the event. So please do go to as many events as you can to do that. Then the next question is, do we need a bank account and what's the benefit? Yes, we would recommend students open a UK bank account because most of the payments, as I said, to the university have to go through a bank account or through a letter. We don't accept cash payments. So having a bank account here also helps with would you, Anna, say the legal status in the UK? Because having a bank account is an expectation that you will need to have in order to pay your rent, to pay different things, also to be able to receive
Yeah,
money from home if anyone needs to send money and receive money.
yeah. Generally, we strongly advise that you open a bank account. It's not I suppose it's not a legal requirement, but like Teddy says, often you'll need to be paying your rent and your bills, and that can only be taken from a UK bank account. So we do for for ease, we definitely recommend opening one. It won't cost you anything. Opening a bank account is free in the UK, and it's a fairly straightforward process as well. So yeah, definitely make sure you have that set up. Most employers, if you have a job, can only pay wages into a UK bank account as well. So if you don't have a UK bank account and you're working, they won't be able to pay your wages to you. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you. To get a phone line, what is the process? I guess you mean like a SIM card or a phone, like a mobile phone. I don't because most places here would not have a landline as a phone which is stuck in your flat or in your house. So to get a phone line, I believe during orientation there will be SIM cards that we will give out. So come to orientation to get a SIM card for free.
Right.
You don't have to pay for it. And then you can use that as a starting point as well. So to get a phone SIM card, come to orientation. Um, Revolut card works on ATMs and is there a charge? I'm not sure about this. I don't know because I don't have a Revolut card myself. So I don't think I can say that there is a charge or there isn't. Anna, Tony, do you use Revolut at all?
So I don't use Revolut, but I use Wise, and I use only the online version of the card. So I only use like the Apple Pay or Google Pay. So I haven't tried it before, but I think it will work in the ATM. I don't know about the extra charges, but I think it'll work.
Okay, thank you.
I use Revolut, and you can get a free account. So that and the cards work in the UK and abroad as well. I use it obviously for foreign currency. Sorry, my dog is barking in the background if you can hear funny noises. But yeah, Revolut is a good option. It's widely recognized as well now in the UK. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. What is the best way to apply for part-time jobs? Very good question. So as we mentioned already, the Career Center is the first place that you should go to when you start looking for part-time jobs. They can help you with, as I say, forming your CV. And something I forgot to mention, you can also do practice interviews with them. If you have a part-time job interview or a full-time job interview coming up, you can go to them and say, I've got this interview coming up for this job. Can you do some practice questions for me? And then you sit down with them and you have this practice. And getting better at interviews is another way of making sure that you get jobs more quickly and successfully. So that would be one thing. And the second thing would be really go and ask and talk to people, talk to different businesses, go into a restaurant or a cafe or a shop that you really like in Gunwolf, ask them if they're looking for people, have a CV ready with you, and be proactive. That's the best advice I can give. Is there usually availability for jobs that let you work from home? I believe with most of the part-time jobs on this level, no, because a lot of them would be customer service facing roles in a shop, in a bank, in a restaurant, in a cafe. So they wouldn't be allowing part-time students to work from home. But then if you find a part-time job that allows that, then absolutely fine. As far as I remember, it depends on the setup that particular institution and organization has. So more commonly not that popular with part-time jobs, but if you find one, then that will be a benefit to you. But the expectation is that most of the part-time jobs will be on site, so to speak. There's a hi here, so I say hi back from Sophie. Does it cost money to join the societies? Very good question. Most of the societies are free to join. The ones who are not, especially the national societies, they're either free or there's a very symbolic charge of £5 or £10 for the whole year. So normally this is just to help the society be run. If you're joining anything like the ski society or one of the sports clubs, then they might have a higher fee, maybe 50, 60, £100 per year. That will be mentioned on their page on the upsu.net website. So you'll be able to see that there. But most of them tend to be either free or have a very, very small year annual fee. Any societies for mature students in their 20s? There is no age restriction on the societies. As long as you're over 18 and you are part of the university, then you're more than welcome to join join any of the societies. So there is absolutely no restriction on that one at all. Is there like an exam session? Is it part of the assessment period or throughout the year? Must we be present at uni during the assessment period? Good question. Yes, for the assessment period, you have to be present at the university. Usually the exams take place at the end of the year, as in the end of the academic year, so April, May time. Some courses might have exams at the end of December, at the end of the first term. Well, in the beginning of December, but at the end of the first term, and then exams again at the end of the second term. So you will find out about this once you start your course. Tony, do you want to tell us about how your exams were in the last year while I go and plug in my laptop because it will die in a minute?
Yeah, sure. So it actually differs from the course. So I studied economics and management, and in the end of first teaching block, I got to write 3 essays. So no exams like you might be used to or you might expect. So just 2 or 3 essays, and that's all I had to do. And in the end of second teaching block, I had to write 5 or 4 essays actually, because I had 6 modules, and so I got 4 essays from 4 modules and 2 tests, which weren't like oral exams, they were written exams. So I had to go in person to the room and write the tests. So this is basically the exam period where you'll get like 2-3 weeks, maybe almost a month, depending on the course. You'll get some free time just for you to study and to prepare for the essays and exams. So that's how I had it this year.
I think another thing to say is it really varies depending on the course. Some courses will have no exams at all, and some of them will be mostly exams. It really does vary depending on your course. But during your course induction, when you get here, your academic team will explain to you how you're going to be assessed, and when exactly your exams are going to be, and when your coursework hand-in dates are going to be. So not to worry about that. That will all be explained to you. Most courses have like a course handbook, and that information will be in that course handbook as well. So you don't need to remember it or think, oh, someone's only going to say it to me on one day, and if I'm not very well and I miss it, I'll miss it. That's not the case. That information will be available to you, so not to worry. I can see Teddy's still charging his laptop, so I'll go to the next question. So Anna has asked, we've been wondering about how is skipping lectures with the visas, is it flexible? So really you shouldn't be skipping lectures, particularly if you have a student route visa. And the reason for this is that there is a condition of the visa that you attend a certain a minimum percentage of your sessions at the university. So it's really important not to miss them, because if you are missing sessions without a valid reason, then there is potential that you could be asked to attend a meeting to explore why you've been missing those sessions. And one of the outcomes of that is that your visa could be cancelled. So obviously we don't want anyone to find themselves in that position. If you are not very well, if you're unwell and you're not going to be able to attend a session, please let the person taking that session know, that lecture know, that you're not very well. But it does need to be a valid reason. You can't just say, I don't really feel like it today, or I'm too busy today doing other things. The visa that you've been granted has been granted for you to study in the UK, and that should be the main purpose that you're here. So reasons like having to work or something like that are not valid reasons for not attending your lectures.
Yeah, thank you for this, Anna. I got my laptop sorted now. Yeah, so also a lot of the lecturers would have, once you get your student ID card, which, yes, you can see it looks like this, you will be able to scan it when you go into every lecture. There will be a little button there. So that is another way for them to track your attendance at the lectures. And as Anna said, you need to make sure that you attend all your lectures unless there's some specific circumstances in which you need to tell the lecturers or whoever is leading the lecture that you are unwell. But always be in touch. Things happen all the time. There are issues sometimes that we cannot predict, but as long as you keep the communication going and inform people what's going on, or that you can't make the lecture for some reason, then that there should be no problems. But yeah, the main reason would be that you need to, after all, you're paying for this, so you have to make sure that you attend your lectures and use the resources as well. Okay, the next one is what's an NI number? This is a national insurance number. So this is the number that you need to get if you want to work in the UK. How to get a national insurance number? Anna, do you want to say about that? Is it still the same process?
Yeah. I can answer that one. I will put a link in the chat about how to get a national insurance number. It, like Teddy says, it's what you need. It's what the UK government used to figure out how much tax you need to pay, basically. So with a national insurance number, it's free. It's not something that you need to pay to get. You need to make an application, and then it can take a few weeks, and then you're given a national insurance number. And whenever you apply, whenever you have a job, your employer will ask you for that national insurance number so that when they're paying you, all the payment and tax and everything is done correctly. You can start a job as long as you've made an application for the national insurance number, even if the national insurance number actually hasn't been granted yet. That's absolutely fine, but you need, at least need to have made the application. But it's free, and I'll pop a link in the chat now. One moment.
Thank you for this, Anna. Next question, how to get a copy of the recording. So we will send you the copy of with the link tomorrow. So tomorrow you'll get the final email from me. I know I've sent you a few reminders about this, so thank you again for being here. So we will send you the recording tomorrow, and you'll be able to watch that back and see it good if you got any questions. How do we get the UK phone number? So as we mentioned before, if you come to the orientation event, there will be SIM cards that will be giving out to students. So that's one way of getting the UK phone number. Alternative would be if you want to go and buy a SIM card from one of the shops in the high street. So either there are quite a few different mobile operators, so you'll be able to do that as well. But as I say, we'll give free SIM cards to you, so please come over and make sure you get one. Tony, do you want to say something about this? How did you get your UK phone number?
Yeah, so I actually received my SIM card during the orientation week, and I received it for free. It was actually GiveGaff, and I think they also have 2 other brands. So yeah, you can check it out later, I guess. But yeah, it's pretty easy. You'll just follow the instructions. And I basically inserted it in and bought my package, and it was really without any problems. So yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. Hi again, I wanted to ask about the induction timetable. Some of the modules do not have locations on them. Will some of the events be held online, or is there an issue with my schedule? So are you talking about, if you're talking about the orientation program, then it should be on the website. It has all the links, and it will have the locations for it. If you have the induction timeline, in which you mean your actual courses and the lectures and the seminars, then you might want to get in touch with the faculty to ask them specifically about where those lectures will take place. I will put my email at the end of it, so if you are struggling to get in touch with the faculty, let me know, and I can connect you, and we can find out why is there an issue with that. Sometimes that's a good point, actually. Sometimes on the induction timetable, I don't know, it should say the full name of the building. So Eldon Building, for example, or King Henry Building. So you can also use Google Maps to find where that building is. So
That's another way of doing it. I know there is a map that you can use, but Google Maps also helps a lot with finding your exact building of your where your lecture is. And also, when you come to orientation, if you do the campus tour, you will know, they will tell you which building is what. And I believe there will also be big signs with big purple signs in front of each building saying what the name of that building is in the first few weeks, so students know where they're going.
Just a
Hi,
quick
I would
one,
like,
Teddy. Sorry,
yes.
just a very quick one. I don't think I can actually post in the chat. I just tried to post the link to the national insurance number, but I think it's only going to hosts and panelists. I don't know if you're able to post it in.
Oh yeah, there it is. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I've just posted the link for the national insurance number as well. And let me also just quickly type in my email as well, which you should already have because of the invites that you're getting. Yeah. Okay. Hi, I would like to ask, how can I activate my student account? So you should have received an email from IS asking you with an invitation to set up your Google account, your student account. And you should be able to set up a password with that. So please have a look at your emails, have a look at your spam folder as well. Quite often those emails go into the spam folder and students miss them out. If there's still issues, feel free to email me and we will find a way to activate that. Okay, where can I find my unconditional offer letter? I cannot find any PDF in my student view. Do we need admission? Do I need university admission accept letter and course accept letter? Where do I find those? So you can find your CAS letter and your offer letters in your applicant view under the communication box. So if you go there, you'll be able to click on it, and then on the bottom of the page, you have a purple button that says save as PDF. You can then download that and have it as a separate document if you need to. We would say that you need the CAS letter and the student visa, these and your passport. These are the three documents that really confirm that you are a student with us and that you have a visa and the right to come into the UK as a student. The unconditional offer letter, I don't think has the same weight to it. The CAS letter and the student visa letter are the really important documents, and the passport that you need to have with you. Okay, for the ID check, does a printout of the email that has approved my visa work? Because an email is all to send me, no PDF or anything. Yeah, so they would send you just an email. You can print that out if you want as a PDF or like just like a standard document. But you should also have an e-visa, as we spoke about. So you should be able to show that from your phone as well. We do advise students to have both, just in case. Always helps. Any airport transfers during the week, day 16 to 20th? No, unfortunately. So the airport pickups are only on the 14th and the 15th of September. There are no airport pickups outside of those dates. But you can, and in those cases, you have to make your own way down to Portsmouth, either by bus, which is National Express bus, or by the train, or by taxi, whatever works best for you. Hi there, can you tell me more about the sports? Yes, that's a really good question. So, Tony, did you do any sports? Are you doing any sports? I think you are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
do you want to say
actually,
something about that?
yeah, sure. So I think in the first few weeks, you'll get the opportunity to try all the sports, I think 10, when you'll purchase a membership called Give Me Sport. And I actually tried one called Snow Sports. And I thought to myself, like, what snow sports? There's almost no snow in the UK. How can I ski there, you know? So I actually applied and we went to Southampton and we skied on dry slopes. And it was actually a trial for a compete team and I actually got in. So by the time I got into the team and I was racing for the uni and it was really amazing to be fair. So we had 1 or 2 trainings a month and we had around 1 race a month and it was so good because skiing on a different surface, we are also racing with other universities, so I'll pretty much recommend it and you should try it as well. But if you have other interests and other sports, yeah, there's a lot of sports in here, so you'll definitely find yours.
Thank you for this. There also, if you go on that same page, which is where all the societies are, you will find out the sports clubs as well. There are sports clubs from almost any given sport you can think of: football, basketball, volleyball, netball, swimming, skiing, anything that you can think of. And sports has been, because I've been in Portsmouth for a while, and sports has been key part of everything we do as students and as staff as well at the university. And one of the testaments to that is the new sports center that we opened a couple of years ago. So I'll put a link in the chat here of the Ravelin Sports Center. So please check that out. It's a brand new gym. It has a swimming pool, and it's always busy with students, and it's there for you to use. It's right next to the library. So we do encourage anyone who is already active to keep doing that, but also anybody who is not into sports and into going to the gym or the swimming or anything else like that to get involved, to be active, to check it out. So please make sure that you do that. And there's a lot of other sports clubs that people can do as well. So please make sure to get involved as much as you can. Which orientation events will be the SIM cards at? I believe it's the welcome orientation on the first day. Is that right, Anna?
Yes, I think if they're doing it the same as last year, you can come to the sort of central hub, the welcome hub, which is going to be in the Students' Union, and you can collect a welcome bag, and the SIM card will be in there. So you don't even need to sign up to any of the events. You just need to come along to the welcome hub in the Students' Union, and it'll be available there.
Okay, thank you. Hello, I can't see my timetable for the induction week. Who can I ask to arrange it? So it might be the case if you have completed your registration within the last 24 hours, it might not show yet. So give it a couple more days, and then if it still doesn't show up, please do email me, and we can find out for you. Will it be possible to try different sports orientation week? Yes. So all the societies will be out there at the Freshers Fair. You can go and talk to all of them, and they will have trial sessions or taster sessions. So the first couple of weeks, normally they do open their events for everyone to come and join for free, and see what they do, see if they like it, if they don't like it. So yes, absolutely. During orientation and during Freshers Fair specifically, you can go and ask them and talk to them, and they will be able to tell you over the next couple of weeks. Our sessions are free. Come along, see if you like it or not. And you can try as many as you want, but our recommendation would be to not join more than 2 or 3 societies, because they will expect you to also commit and go to their regular meetings. And if you have more than 3 societies and then you have lectures and part-time jobs, time will very quickly shrink into not enough for what you're actually here to do. So absolutely, during Freshers Week and Orientation Week, do as much as you can with those and visit them. Do you have to pay to do a taster for sports societies? So the tasters in the first couple of weeks should be free, and the societies at the Freshers Fair will tell you if you have to pay or not. Normally you don't, because it's in their interest to get more students involved. And I don't believe they've ever charged for the taster session. So you're more than welcome to go and check them out for free. How do we buy the £8 sports trial? I don't know what the £8 sports trial is, but if that's related to the sports center that we have, then I guess it will be on the website. If it's one of the societies, then you're more than welcome to get in touch with them specifically and ask them about that, because we don't have that information. Anything the societies do is their own organization, so we don't know how it's done. Normally that information is on their websites. Do you need to set up a university email account, and will there be an introduction to the website timetable? So you already should have a university email account. You should have received an email to your personal account to set up the university email account, and all communication and emails from the university will be going into that new email. So in the first couple of weeks, make sure you're checking both your personal account and the new one. But then from registration onwards, all information should be going into the university email account. Is the library free for everyone? Very good question. Yes, the library is free. The university library is absolutely free for all students to walk in, to use the resources there, to use the books, the journal articles. All of that is free. And also I would recommend, don't worry about buying any books. Unless the lecturer specifically says you need a certain book, don't go and buy all the books, because the library is full of resources, full of books, full of materials, and they will tell you what is needed for you to buy or to get on. Tony, did you buy any books when you started last year?
No, everything is in the library.
Wonderful. Great question. Great answer. Exactly. I didn't do that either when I was a student. Can you explain how the assessment works? Yes, so the assessments, depending on what course you're doing, there will always be a combination of different things. There will always be a combination of a coursework, a combination of a coursework, exam, presentation, project, a variation of those. So it's never only one exam with one grade, which is the entire grade for the whole year. It's always in percentages. Tony, do you want to say how the assessment work in one of your modules, maybe?
Yeah, sure. So each module is different, obviously. But for example, one of my modules had 8 tests throughout basically the whole year, and 50% of the average mark of the test counted towards my grade, and the other 50% was my writing exam in the end. And other had like 1 or 2 essays a year, and I had one which I had to do only 1 essay in the end of the year, so it really differs.
Yeah, and the whole point is that the university understands that some students are better at exams, others are better at presentations, better at projects. So they're giving everyone an equal chance in showcasing that. So again, another way in which this and the UK universities are different than the European universities. There's a lot more flexibility and variety in the way they're doing assessments. And normally for ours here, I think 40% is the minimum that you need to pass, and then you have higher grades after that. But the grading is in percentages in most of the time. Okay, when do you do the ID? When you do the ID check in person, do they give you the student card at the same time? So yes, you get your student card after you do the ID check, but in order to do that, you need to have completed the student ID card section in your application, in your registration form. You need to upload a photo there. You need to give them a few more details. And if you do that in advance, it should be ready for you when you do your ID check. As Europeans, we paid for the NHS, and I have a number how to register at the GDP. So, Anna, how do they register at the GDP? Do you have an answer for that?
Yeah, to register for the GP is really easy. There's several different things that you can do. Some GPs have just an online form, so the registration is done online. Some of them require you to go into the GP surgery itself and fill in a form in person. I think most of them are on an online registration now. You don't need to pay anything; it's free. You need to proactively do the registration yourself to be registered. But once you're registered, that's it. You can access the GP and all those services for free. I will ask Teddy to pop a link in the chat because we have some information on our website about the GP surgeries that are available. Sorry, if anybody doesn't know what GP means, we mean general practitioner, which is what we call the sort of the everyday doctor. So if you have a bit of a cold and you need some prescription medication, you'd go and see your GP, and they're like a family doctor basically. But I'll pop a thing in the chat to share on how to do that and how to find the different surgeries in Portsmouth as well.
And I think if you click on the blue button which says host and panelists, you should be able to click everyone and then message.
I don't have that option. No, it says just host
Okay.
panelist, University of Portsmouth or Tony, unfortunately. So I tried that already. Sorry.
There you go. I will. So can you?
I'll send you the link.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Okay, how and when do we select the optional modules? So the first year should only have compulsory core modules. You shouldn't have optional modules unless your course is very specific. So during the first year, you will talk to your lecturers and your tutors about what optional modules are and what do they include. And then at the end of the first year, you will select what optional modules you get for the second year. So it is a process, and you will learn more about what they mean in the meantime. Might there be any problems with completing the ID check on the 23rd of September after the teaching event starts? I believe the ID checks takes I think over 2-3 weeks. So if you don't manage to get it done as soon as you can, although we do recommend it, then please don't worry. The registration process will carry on for at least a couple of weeks, so you will be able to complete the ID check at some point over that period. Do you know if any of the induction events taking place during the induction week take place online? So I believe that will be mentioned if they are once you get your timetable. If not, the expectation is that most of the induction events these days after the pandemic will take place in person. So you have to go to your building and speak to the lecturers and see them and speak um, to your classmates as well. Are there any maximum days we can be sick? I don't know about this, Anna. Is there a maximum limit on that? I don't think there is. Is there?
So with being unwell, there isn't like a sort of a maximum number of days. It's all down to it's all looked on by individual circumstances. So say for example, you missed sort of 3 weeks of lectures because you were in hospital, you were hospitalized. You'd be able to evidence that, and the university would be able to, have, support you with that. If you were sick every, I don't know, Thursday morning, with no evidence and no reason for not coming in, your personal tutor may want to speak to you about that because they may see a pattern. Maybe you went out the night before to Purple Wednesdays and you have a hangover. That's not really a good enough reason to be sick every Thursday morning. So it's not a sort of the maximum number of days is 5 or 10 or 15. It doesn't quite work like that. There is on a student route visa, there is a percentage that you are required to attend, and that percentage is 70%. So you do need to make sure you are attending 70% or above. But like I said, if you're really unwell, you're on medication or you're hospitalized, that you may be out for a week or two, and that's okay. You just need to keep communicating with the university why you're not there and what's going on, because then we can support you and have a discussion with you and things like that.
Thank you for this, Anna. Hello, I was wondering if you're aware where can I log into my university email account? I presume they will be sent an email with the password. Will they send me the email when I can get my student card? No, so you should receive that email way before you get your student card. You should have received it already, in fact. You can check your spam folder and your personal email. If it's not there, then please do email me and we will find out what's happened there and how we can get that to you as quick as possible. Consolidation week is happens twice during the term, during the year, so once every term, and it is a week where students have time to prepare for the exams, to focus on reading. There is no actual lectures taking place during that week, but it's given to the students so they have time to catch up with lectures that they haven't managed to learn or to prepare for coursework, to work on coursework, so you don't have in university commitments, but it's expected the students will still be studying independently during that period. This may sound like a stupid question. There is no stupid question, but what website will the university email be found? So you should be receiving, as I mentioned before, to your personal email that you use to create your account. You should get the invitation to create your university email. So it should be there. It is a Gmail, so it should be it will be on Google, I believe. But you should check out your personal email, check out like a few weeks back or a few months back, whenever that has been sent to you. If there is an issue, as with the others, please feel free to email me and we can find that out for you. I have core modules with 165 credits from the 180 that is in total. Can I enroll in more optional modules, or do you have to bid 180 credits? Also, I didn't find optional modules in my timetable. Should I pick one first? So normally the core modules and the optional modules should make up 180 credits. If you have a problem with that, or if you're not sure, then getting in touch with the faculty will be the best thing to do. Also, this is something that you can ask them during induction. So once you go to your induction week and you meet the faculty, you can ask them about that, and they will tell you how the optional modules work, when do you select them, and how the process works. The timetable, if you've completed your registration within the last 24 hours, maybe it's not there yet. So give it a few more days, and if you can still not find the timetable, please again email me as like with the others, and we'll find it. How do I get access to my term mail? So again, very similar to what we said before. You should have been sent instructions in your personal email inbox. If it's not there, you can email me and we'll find out for you. Are we allowed to compete in sports on student visa? Are there any restrictions on this, Anna?
Um, this is a really good question actually. So technically, yes, in some ways. On the student route visa, you can't be a professional sports person. But in terms of joining university sports team, and competing within sort of university leagues and stuff like that, that's absolutely fine. It's when it becomes more professional and you're being paid for it and things like that. So it's a valid question because it is a condition of the visa not to be a professional sports person. But for sort of university leagues and stuff, not a problem at all.
Thank you. Does the university have a doctor? I believe we do have a general health service, do we?
We have, well, it's called the university surgery, but it's not actually part of the university. It's just the GP surgery that's in the city and is closest to the university. So although it's called the university surgery, it is not actually run by the university, but it is right there in the city centre. So it's generally the closest GP surgery for most students. But in the link that Teddy has shared in the chat, you can have a look at the different ones that are on there. I mean, GPs under the NHS are all pretty much the same, to be honest, because it's NHS services. So yeah, any GP that you register with, you're going to receive pretty much the same service.
Okay, thank you. And is there an app that the university uses to access the timetable easily on the mobile phone? I believe once the timetable becomes available, it should be on your applicant view. So it should be where your registration is, where your applicant view is. There should be a new button on the top which says My Timetable. And I believe you can transfer that to Google Mail or Outlook or whatever calendar app you're using on your phone. So it should be transferable on your phone. So you can have a look at that. And I also answered the next question, which is where to find the timetable. It should be on your applicant view as a My Timetable menu. How do we transfer the calendar? That should be an option that you can see on the timetable. There should be a button somewhere there, as far as I believe. Will the timetables be available after the ID check? I believe they should be available before that, not after. I'm not sure about this, but they should be. They usually become available around this point at this week and next week. So if you don't have yours yet, it might be the case that the team hasn't gotten to that point yet. So give it a few more days. And if it doesn't show up, then let us know. Okay, I was only looking at the Q&A, but is there anything we haven't answered in the chat?
I think we've covered most things in there.
We have, yeah.
Yeah.
Deadline for enrollment. I think we do tell the students to arrive as soon as you can and to do radio registration as soon as possible. I don't believe there's a lot of flexibility with that, so please make sure that you arrive on campus as soon as you can. If you think you might be late for some reason, any extenuating circumstances or anything unexpected, any emergencies, please do let us know as soon as possible what the situation is, and then we can advise you from there. Okay. My core modules are already in the timetable. Just waited to see the optional ones. Yeah, so the optional ones I don't think will show up before you select them. So now, yes, I understand the question now. Sorry. So yes, I think that will be a conversation with the academics in your induction meeting when you go and talk to them. And once you select them, then they will show up on your timetable because these will be the optional modules that you have selected. How does address work in the UK? What are the different components? So that's a good question. We haven't had that before. So normally you have the number of the house or the flat that you live in, then the name of the street, then the city. So it's all underneath each other. And then at the bottom you have a postcode. So the most important thing about the addresses here is the postcode. Every address has a postcode, and this is the quickest and easiest way for you to say what your address is. So keep an eye on the postcode. Tony, is there anything you want to share in terms of final tips and advice for the students?
Yeah, so I'll say one short thing, just it'll all be fine, you'll be fine, no worries. I know it might be a bit stressful to move to another country, to adapt to a different lifestyle, speak in a different language, but you'll be fine. There'll be plenty of people experiencing and going through the same thing as you, and this school does everything they can to help you accommodate and enjoy your stay and studying. So I know you'll be fine, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all in a few days.
Thank you, Tony. I would also say the university does offer also part-time jobs, especially in our team as well. So if you want to become an ambassador and do what Tony does as well, and get involved with our aim to help other new students who are just in the same position as you are to do that journey and to join us, please do let us know. And that's a really good opportunity to become an international student ambassador as well. I think there's the one last question. Where do I choose and select my optional modules? I think this will be something that, again, you can talk to your academics during the induction week once you start, and they will be able to tell you how the process works, because it's very different for every single course. There is no one process for everyone. And there was another one. Can you work at university?
I answered that one. Yes,
Yes.
you can. Yeah. The wage might be slightly different because of the way how the wages work in the UK. So under 18s, the statutory minimum wage is a little bit lower. Sometimes. So that's just be aware of, but you can work. That's not a problem.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much, guys. That I hope that was useful, and I hope we managed to answer most of your questions. If there's anything that we haven't covered or that you're not sure about, please do feel free to email me. You have my email from the invitations. It's on the bottom of the email, so feel free to talk to us. Make sure you come to the UK after you get your visa, so don't arrive in the UK before your visa is granted. And also make sure you make the most of the orientation events, of the induction, of the welcome events that we organize. Come and talk to us. That's what we're here for in the global office. Always here to help out as well with anything that you might need. So we're always here. We always have colleagues available. And if we have anything else in terms of questions or anything that you need, please do let us know. Can we have the link on the chat for yes? So the last thing I'll do is let me just put the link for the welcome events for the orientation week. And yeah, that is a very key moment. So the more you get involved with and the more people you meet during orientation week, the easiest it will be for you in your first few weeks. Okay. There we go. This is the link for the welcome events. So once again, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to talk to you. I hope we managed to give you the information you needed. Anna, Tony, thank you again for your help today. And we're looking forward to seeing all of you in Portsmouth in just a few weeks. So take care and see you soon.